Daniel lives with Marie, her husband, and 2 children. In this first segment, you will see Marie discussing her father's situation with a parish nurse, Elizabeth, who has stopped by Marie's home.
So Marie, I'm sorry that I just kind of dropped in. I know that, but I saw your car in the driveway, and I was across the street seeing someone else, and I thought, it's been so long since I've seen you guys.
It's okay, Elizabeth. I was just, I didn't expect anybody today. It's been one of those days. You know, my dad has Alzheimer's, and I just finished cleaning up. I'd gotten him down, and then I found all of this mess on the floor again. It's really hard to plan any day.
Is he around? Can I say hi?
Maybe not now. Things are under control now, but it's tough. It's tough, but you know, they've taught me ways to deal with them, and as you know, I just got him controlled now, just a little bit ago. So
controlled. I'm kind of curious. I don't know what that means. Control. What does that mean?
Oh, you know, you do know.
I mean, I know what I mean. I know how he's.
Yeah, you know, my dad has a problem.
Right.
Yeah. You know, he's got Alzheimer's.
Okay.
And it's really tough. It's just, you just have to constantly be watching and be attentive, and you never know what's going to happen next. And you know, he can go from being just this, my wonderful dad. You know my dad,
sure,
Elizabeth. You know him, and then the next minute he's just out of control. And then, you know, sometimes I'm forced to have to do something. So yeah, I just got him down. You know,
he's asleep. Is he?
Yeah. Well, you know, I use the medications. You know, they that's what they do in nursing homes. So you know, that's what I have to do sometimes. But you know, maybe later. Maybe you could see him a little bit later.
I guess I'm just kind of curious because it's only like 11:30, and it's so 11:30 in the morning, and so. Well, how long will he be out? I mean, what is that? Does he get to eat, or is he, you know?
Well, he had breakfast, but eating, boy, every meal is like, you just don't know what to expect. You don't know what you're going to get. Every meal is just constant attention. You know, yesterday he was trying to drink his pudding and put his spoon inside of his drink, and it's just...
In this segment, Marie discusses with Elizabeth financial issues in the family.
The money that he gets goes into your house, into your household budget. Is that how it, or does he have, you know, do you have a separate budget like for him and what he needs, or how does that work?
Well, you know, it's our money. It's you know, he's part of our household. So yeah, it's all household money. So yeah, I just take care of whatever has to be taken care of. There's more food, there's more electricity, there's more, you know, taking them places. It's just, you're right. It has been an expense for us, but you know, we manage. We take care of it.
So do you get to? So I guess if you have his money, then you get to have a little bit more of your own for your own life. Is it kind of helping, or is it making it hard? I mean, what does having his money do for your house? You know.
You know, I think it probably evens out. I mean, maybe, you know, I don't even think of it that way, Elizabeth. You know, to be truthful, it probably evens out. I mean, he cost us a lot, and there's a lot of things we have to do for him, and I had to get this special Jerry, you know what a Jerry chair is, and the trays, and we've had to put some of those hand rails around. But you know, we just put the money in the household account, and yeah, I mean, it probably evens out. I've, you know, been able to allow the kids to have a few extra things, but you know, I had to quit my job, so you know, that's what I mean.
So you quit your job, and so the money that he's bringing in is kind of helping to balance that out?
Well, I don't, I don't like to think of it that way because really I think in the long run we probably, if I wanted to go down that path, really he cost us something. You were asking about that care stuff, and I looked into that, and you would not believe it. You just would not. These people want $10 an hour to come and do stuff. $10 an hour. So if I was going to have somebody here for a day, I could be paying $80. And if I had that for a weekend, 100 and 150, 160, who's got that kind of money? Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, because I've had to use it for my own family, I can tell you from personal experience, I've had to use it, and the state actually has services that can help. There's elder care, there's all these different places, and sometimes they look at your financial ability, they look at his income, and they can make it work. If you wanted to, we could actually go through the processes, and we could really start looking at specifically what kind of services he would need, and then based on income,
I don't think that we're eligible for that, Elizabeth. Unless we're going to, just deplete all of his assets, that we're not eligible for those programs, and everything has to be paid for out of pocket. It's it's a no-win situation, and why should I give them all of my money? I just that doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me.
But it is going to cost some money. It is going to cost some money.
Some more information, but what do you think you're talking about here? Because really, our budget is really tight now. It's just every penny is accounted for, and I'm doing my best to, it's pretty upsetting to the kids that they don't get to do, We're trying I'm putting aside as much as I can every month for the big trip that, we promised the kids. It's kind of like the trade-off. They have to have kind of an ornery old man, as they see it, living with them, and so I've been putting aside money for this trip. And
I see you've got some brochures and stuff there. So you're going to Europe?
Yeah, the kids have never been there. I've never been, but really it was the kids' choice, and we felt like it's our money, and let's decide how we want to do this. And
so how long you be gone?
Oh, I think that we're looking for possibly even 2, maybe 3 weeks. It just depends, Ben is trying to save his vacation time, and we're figuring out if the kids can go. But so, I think that all these are really good ideas because he'll need some help then. We'll have to figure out something.
Marie talks to Elizabeth about strategies she uses with her father in attempting to, in her words, do the best I know how to do.
I don't want it to be like it was at my brother's house.
So you think kind of keeping him kind of here and keeping him quiet and making sure
in a
that
routine,
he stays quiet.
And trying the familiar and using the things that we've gotten used to. We use the Jerry chair every day. We put him in that, and then we can put a tray on that, and that's familiar. It keeps him in the chair. I don't have to worry about him wandering around.
Tell me about that. What do you do with the tray? Because I know there's different ways of using it. So how?
Well,
how do you
once
use
the
it?
tray is in, he's in the chair, and then you can put the tray in, and then he can eat there. For the most part, we just put him in his chair, and a lot of times he's just in his room. And sometimes, if it's just me and him, I'll usually have him out with me. But with the family a lot now, I just keep him in his own room.
Okay.
You put him in the Jerry chair, you put the tray in, and you can just put his tray on top of the tray. And then I'll come and get it later.
You have to be kind of careful because sometimes those chairs angle back a little bit if you.
Yeah,
kinda angle
but
it
that
back.
actually, that's a really, when you can angle it back. If I have found that if he's starting to get real agitated and trying to move a lot, that I can tilt. That's how I can do his medicines. I can tilt it back, and then I don't have to fight with them. And the other thing is that I've learned that he can't kick at me so much when I tilt it back. His legs are at a different angle, so it actually is a pretty safe way.
So
for
he
me.
actually may be in the chair, and then his arms are kind of restrained, his legs a little restrained, and then you kind of give him his medicine. Is that how you get the medicine?
Yeah,
Him to take the medicine? Is that-
if when this only when he's just so out of control, of course, and the thing you learn these things, that at first when I was I was using a towel to tie his hands down. And then, because, I'd bring the food and he'd be throwing it everywhere, or I'd be trying to give him, I mean his medicines that he has to take. And I'm responsible for giving him his medicine so that he can stay alive and healthy. He's got a little, he's in good shape, but there's that blood pressure medicine. I got to make sure he takes that. So I was giving him that, and then he would fight it. So I've learned at first I would use the towel, and then I figured out he's so strong. That's what I mean when I tell you he's really healthy. He would just work his arms out. So then I started using those leather restraints that you can just put down. And he actually worked so hard one time that he broke through one, and another time he was able to get under it, and I was trying to give him his medicine, and he came right underneath. I wasn't expecting it because I thought that his hands were secure, and the next thing I know, he was right in my face. Life just turns upside down. It's like having an infant who never grows up.
Let me ask you something. Marie, sometimes we look back on our lives, or we look at the situation and we think, boy, if only things were different, I might do something different. Is there anything when you think about your care of your dad and the things that are happening on a day-to-day basis, things that you have to do or not do, do you feel like, what would you do that would be different or more or less?
That is such a hard question, Elizabeth, and it's kind of like, what is the point in thinking like that? I mean, I made my choice. There are days that I wake up and I am so tired. I don't know how I'm going to get through another day. He's been up all night. I've had the monitor going all night. I don't know how I'm going to have the patience to be kind with him today. And if he starts acting out, then I get afraid that I'm just not going to be able to do it. But, when I have those days, I think to myself, what is the point in going down that path? I love my dad. I made the choice that I was going to bring him here and I was going to take care of him. And I'm doing the best I know how to do.
In this segment, Art Mason, National Adult Protective Services Association board member and practicing social worker, offers his perspective on Daniel's case.
You really need to have some experience looking at both what is said and nonverbal cues too. Are people, when they're giving an explanation of the care that they're giving of the older relative, does it match up with the facts? If they're saying, I'm cleaning them every day, I'm caring for them, they're well fed, and yet you see the person and they're very dirty and their clothes are very soiled, the facts are not matching up with the story. I think that's one thing that's very obvious that almost any worker that goes in a community situation can observe. Is what's being said match with what the facts of it? The other, a little bit more subtle, is the person acting very defensively? Are they trying to deflect you when you ask a very direct question about, has your loved one, has your elderly relative seen a doctor recently? Has anyone come in and offered you services? If they become defensive and talk about, no, that costs too much, the person doesn't want to go, I can never get an appointment, and then tries to redirect you off onto another subject, some red flags should go up. Obviously, you're touching a a sore point there, and they really don't want to go down that road. So I think both the obvious, what you see, and also listening for verbal and nonverbal cues. Another thing about, well, you have to control him. You just have to control him. When you hear that control word, it's often a euphemism for other types of control. And the perpetrator or the caregiver who's saying that the reason they're doing it is caregiving is really controlling that person and maybe being abusive to them. All of these things that are rationalizations, we call them, the yeah buts. Yeah, I did it, but here's my rationalization. I'm hoping you will believe this story, are things that I often listen for in this particular situation that really perked me up and looked at that she was being abusive to her father. When a caregiver or someone in the household has control of the money, that really becomes the primary driving factor. That person, in essence, they're making a choice between the care for the person, providing home health care or other services, and controlling the money. That's why when Marie talks about how much she cares for him and how much she does for him, in fact, his life could be very improved. When she controls the money, money equates to choices in our society. And in the case of Marie's dad, he certainly had enough resources where he could have had a better lifestyle. He could have gone out of the home. But because Marie wanted to redirect those funds, she didn't allow him to get out. She would yell and scream at him. She would do many things that would really be considered abusive, and it was a self-perpetuating cycle, not letting him out and just holding on to him as long as possible so she and her family could gain the benefits of the money.